everyone, it's Annabelle. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be updating you on how my Vandas are doing under the Mars Hydro TS600 light and in their semi-hydro and self-watering setups. The timing of me putting them under the light coincides roughly with when I switched them, so I really think that the light has helped with the conversion success. Because I put them in semi-hydro and under the light around the same time, it's hard for me to separate out the increase in growth that I've seen, whether that's caused purely by the light, by the switch, by a combination of two. But I definitely think that the TS600 light has helped out massively with converting my Vandas into semi-hydro or self-watering setups. So I'm just going to talk you through a couple of the Vandas. We're in my grow room, obviously, so I'm going to just show you a few of them, save me getting them all out, and show you the light. And we're also going to do a giveaway at the end of this, which is for the exact light I have, the TS600, which is a full spectrum LED grow light, draws 100 watts and emits a huge amount of light. It's been great for my Vandas. So if we start off by looking at the most recent Vanda that I've received, which is the Vanda cristata crossed with tricolour that Nina sent me. This one I've only recently transitioned to semi-hydro. It's doing okay. It has dropped a few leaves though, as you can see, but it hasn't lost its roots yet. I'm waiting for it to grow some more before I can kind of be confident, but it seems to be doing well. And this one here is the Orchids Correct Cookie crossed with Rhynchostylis retusa. I showed you this one when I repotted my straight retusa. This one rapidly grew out of its little hanging pot that I had it in. The roots were hitting the bottom and circling round and then coming back up to the top. So I've repotted it into a larger pot. It is just going to probably create aerial roots. My large Vandas all have. That's fine. But I want it to have a good sized pot to grow into. And just to show you quickly, my Murmurcatavola Francis Fox, which is absolutely stunning. I showed you this in my What's in Bloom, but this is where it lives, and it's working on its second spike at the moment, which you can see there. This is my Dendrobium secundum crossed with Smillier. This one I got in a Schwerter haul back in summer. It's put out quite a lot of new growths for me. It put out a few last year. It's kind of annual deciduous, so it loses the leaves from the previous year's growth over its winter rest, and it's not a cold winter rest, it's just dry. It doesn't like to be cold, and then it puts out new growth. So it's still got the leaves from the last growth that it made at the end of last year and the new growth that it's made this year, and we've finally got some roots in the pot, which I was getting a little bit concerned about. A couple of new little growths there, plus a few bigger ones. This one just lives at the edge because it was getting quite purple directly under the light, so I put it at the edge of this shelf. And this is my Vandopsis lysicilioides. It's growing a new leaf. I have two of these, one baby one and then this bigger one. They both have this weird leaf damage that they arrived with. They're completely separate vendors that I got them from. I think they must be very prone to cold damage, so I think it's probably going to lose the lower leaves, but it's chucking out so many roots for me. It arrived basically rootless and in a bit of a bad state, but I'm really happy with how it's doing. I do think we are going to lose the bottom leaves there, but we've got quite a few roots going into the pot now, so I'm very happy with that. It's a notoriously slow grower, but seems to be doing okay in my care. It's actually semi-terrestrial in nature, so it seems to like semi-hydro. This is my Erides Hulusiana, which I got from the haul that I did from Elsner, the final haul that I got from them. Got two new root tips emerging from this root, which I think got damaged in transport. It dried up shortly after I received it. But we've got two new root tips emerging from that root. Plus we've got quite a lot of new root tips in the pot. It did drop a couple of leaves, but it's now working on lots of new root tips on the old roots. And I'm started to label up when I repotted this. So this one was actually repotted on the 9th of January. So we're looking at a month and a half to 2 months at this point. And I've just put some arrows showing the new roots there. Currently got 4 new root tips starting that I can see in the pot, plus the 2 new root tips emerging from the one outside of the pot. So it's doing very well, and I'm hoping that now that it's got some energy into producing roots, it'll just take off from here. The keikie's certainly grown a little bit. Behind it we've got my monster Vanda, which keeps growing. I keep saying I have to move the shelves, but I've obviously missed it this time because it's grown through the shelf. yeah, these shelves are adjustable. This one is just a monster. It's growing its roots everywhere. It's clearly happy. It's got quite a lot of happy sap. Seems to be doing very well in the self-watering setup with leca and pumice that it's in. So yeah, I can't actually see the roots, but you can kind of tell it's doing well. This is just a little Cloecia that I've got in the back there. I've just taken my Dimorphocus lowii out from the shelf. It's actually on the lower shelf, so getting less direct light from the TS600, but it's supplemented by a Gemma and this one seems to be doing well. It's growing quite a lot of new roots at the moment, so it's in a mix of pretty much everything. It's got some pumice, it's got some grow stones, it's got leca, and it's got synthic in there, with a top layer of larger pebbles, and you can see quite a lot of new root tips growing, and it's actually growing a root right into the synthic at the moment, so obviously loves sucking up all that moisture. Next, I'm going to show you my Erides odorata alba, which is the most vigorous orchid. I highly recommend it to beginners. It loves a lot of moisture, and it's just suited the self-watering setup that I've got it in so well. It grows so quickly. I love Erides for this. So this is the root system that we've got on it at the moment. It had a very vigorous root system going into the self-watering system, but as you can see, it's growing a lot of new ones too. So it's just super vigorous. The odorata I would 100% recommend if you're new to Vandas and want to try a Vandaceous type. Obviously it is an Erides. They tend to grow a little bit faster and like a little bit more moisture. So overall, I'm really happy with their progress in the mixes that I've got them in. One thing I would say is that I had to switch out the small pebble layer for a larger pebble for Vandas, because I was finding the small pebbles, it was actually blocking the root access because they've got such thick roots. So that is one adjustment that I have made for these guys in the setup. They just seem to be really enjoying it, and I really strongly believe that good light source, obviously that's a main driving factor in energy production for the plant. So without good light source, they don't have enough energy to actually put into new vegetative growth. So obviously with sunlight, you're limited by the fact that it can very easily burn your plants. LEDs, I've never had burning. I have had excessive anthocyanin production and chlorosis, which is yellowing of the leaves, where the chlorophyll pigment's getting kind of overheated by too much light. I've only ever had that with fluorescent tubes though. So those are warning signs to watch out for. This is one of my Catasetum types that I've got growing under the Mars light. It's supposed to be a Cloecia Jumbo Grace crossed with Catasetum semicirculatum. All my Catasetinae are coming out of dormancy at the moment, so it's a super exciting time. This one is the Rhynchostylis retusa itself that I repotted with you guys. It has quite a lot of roots growing, and I had to again repot it because those hanging pots that I put it in were just a little bit too narrow for the new root growth. Unfortunately, with the small pebble layout, what was happening was the roots were getting blocked access, so they were getting to the edge of the pot before they were going down. This wasn't an issue with orchids with smaller roots, but with the large rooted Vandas, this became a little bit of an issue. So I've changed that over and it seems to be working much better. So that's a lesson learned. Don't use small pebbles for Vandas, it stops their roots getting down. But the large pebbles seem to be working well. And I just really like the grow space that this has created, and the fact that I only have to water them once every 2 weeks, which is better than every day, and carrying them around in baskets and bashing their roots. Obviously this isn't a traditional growing method for Vandas, and it may not work in all environments, but you can keep them however you feel comfortable with. This is another option for some people in some environments. It might not work in all environments. It seems to be okay in mine. One thing I would say that I've noticed is the more moisture-loving Vandaceous orchids like the Rhynchostylis and the Erides have taken off much quicker and with much less of an adaptation process in the semi-hydro and self-watering setups than the kind of straight Vandas. So that's definitely something that I've noticed. Obviously I am doing something a little bit risky, so I'm going to keep you guys updated with this. But so far it seems to be going well. And now for the details of the giveaway. Mars Hydro have kindly sponsored another giveaway on my channel. It wasn't that long since the last one. This time they're going to be giving away the Mars Hydro TS600, which is the one that I'm currently growing these orchids under. It's a full spectrum, no blurple. It's daylight kind of white effect, and I really love it. And I was given this product to trial, but I wouldn't be growing under it if it wasn't any good, quite honestly. And I'm actually considering purchasing a second one for a different shelf unit. Because they're flat, they fit under shelving a little bit better, I think. And I'm excited to be giving one of you guys the chance to try this out also, because I seem to be getting good results with it. So if you're interested in entering the giveaway, just pop a comment down below with your region. This giveaway is open to participants in the UK, Europe, the USA and Canada. And just pop a comment down below with your region saying that you'd like to enter the giveaway, and I will announce the winner in a week's time. Good luck to everyone who enters the competition, and I'm excited for one of you guys to also try this light out. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like or subscribe to my channel for more regular orchid updates and potentially giveaways in the future. Bye!